Hey guys, it's Chloe and today I am here with a brand new video. So today I am here with my February wrap up, and guys, I read 11 books in the month of February, so there's a lot of things to talk about, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to continue with doing the statistics for each book I read when I tell you guys what I read. So the first book I completed in the month of February was Opposition by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is the last book in the Lux series. I did give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It counted as the letter O for the A to Z challenge, and it did not qualify for a Pop Sugar challenge. I enjoyed this book overall as well as the entire series. The series did take a different turn than what I thought it would originally do, but I did still think it was a great series. The Lux series is, I think, the first and only alien romance series that I've read before, but it was pretty good even though it took a different turn than I thought it would. I also listened to the audiobook for this, and this edition also includes the novella Shadows, which is told from Dawson's point of view, but I did not count that as a separate read because it was included in this book. The next book I completed in the month of February was Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerall, and this was the January book of the month for Once Upon a Read-Along. Overall, I gave this book a 2.75 stars. It counted for the letter E on the A to Z challenge, and for the Pop Sugar challenge, it counted as a book by an author from a country you have never visited. Erin Summerall was born in England. I listened to the audiobook for this. I really wish I had enjoyed this book more. The cover is gorgeous, the synopsis was interesting, but unfortunately the contents were not my favorite. Now I'm actually not going to talk too much about this because Elizabeth and I did a live show for this a couple of weeks ago, so I will link that in the description below if you are interested in checking it out. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the first book, I probably am still going to read the second book because I believe this is a duology, and the end of this book kind of had me intrigued for the second book, so I think I will be reading that when it comes out in December of this year. The next book I read in February was Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys, and I gave this book a 3 stars. This did not count for a letter for the A to Z challenge, but for the Pop Sugar challenge, it counted as a novel set during wartime because this is set during World War II when Hitler was in power. This is actually a historical fiction novel. I do not read a lot of historical fiction. I actually only read this because Ruta Sepetys is having a signing that is about an hour away from where I am, so I wanted to read this book so I could go to the signing. Overall, I did enjoy this book. The chapters were very short. I did listen to the audiobook, which I thought was perfect because this is in multiple points of view. It had multiple different narrators for the audiobook, which I thought was excellent. Overall, I did enjoy this book. I think the thing with it though is historical fiction is not my favorite genre, so while I did enjoy this, I'm not exactly eager to pick up another historical fiction novel. The next book I completed in February was A Little Something Different by Sandy Hall. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It counted for the letter A on the A to Z challenge. It did not qualify for anything on the Pop Sugar challenge. I also listened to the audiobook for this. I was needing an audiobook to listen to, and I just randomly picked this one up, which I've been wanting to pick this up for a while now. The interesting thing about this book, it is about 2 college students, Leah and Gabe, but it is not told from either of their perspectives. It is told from 14 different perspectives of people that are in their lives. I thought it was a very interesting take on a love story. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting. And I am glad that I finally picked this up. I've had this book on my radar since before it was published, so I'm really glad that I finally got to pick it up. The next book I completed in February was Shadow of a Girl by Shannon Greenland. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. It did not count for a letter for the A to Z challenge, and for the Pop Sugar challenge, it counted as a book set in a hotel because there is constant traveling in this novel, so our characters are constantly in hotels. I actually read this book as part of a vlog tour, so I'm not going to talk too much about this book because I did an entire review for this book, which is spoiler free, and I will link that in the description below if you'd like to go check that out. The next book I completed is This Is What Happy Looks Like by Jennifer E. Smith. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. For the A to Z challenge, it counted as the letter T, and for the Pop Sugar challenge, this counted for a book centered around a holiday that is not Christmas, and this one is centered around the 4th of July. This book was super cute. For the most part, I always love Jennifer E. Smith books. They're just really nice contemporary romances that I love because apparently I am just trash for contemporary romance. This is one of her longer novels, so I did listen to the audiobook for it, but I really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to pick up more Jennifer E. Smith. I know I still have to read Hello, Goodbye, and Everything in Between, as well as Windfall when that comes out. The next book I completed is Wires and Nerve Volume 1 by Marissa Meyer, and this is the February book of the month for Once Upon a Read-Along. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. It did not qualify for a letter for the A to Z challenge, and for the Pop Sugar challenge, it counted as a book with pictures because this is a graphic novel. So Of course, I am just Lunar Chronicles trash. I love everything Lunar Chronicles. Basically anything Marissa Meyer does, I love it. And of course, this is a new installment in the Lunar Chronicles, a brand new story, not an adaptation of a previously done story. So I'm so excited that we are getting 2 graphic novels for Lunar Chronicles. I loved this. It was so fast-paced. It was amazing. And I don't know what I'm going to do when there's no more Lunar Chronicles coming out. I don't know what I'm going to do. I did upload a book talk for this video, so if you'd like to check that out, I will leave it in the description down below. The next book I completed in February was My Heart and Other Black Holes by Jasmine Warga. This was a completely random picking up. Again, I needed a new audiobook to read, so this is the one that I picked up. I gave this book a 3.5 stars. This counted for the letter M for the A to Z book challenge, and this had no pop sugar challenge. Overall, this book was pretty okay. It's not my absolute favorite, but it's also not the worst book that I've ever read. Give it a shot if you are interested in reading this book. There is a trigger warning for suicide in this novel, just so you are aware. But overall, it was a pretty okay read for me. The next book I completed in February was Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. I actually listened to the audiobook for Red Queen back in November or December. I think it was December. And I decided that I wanted to pick up Glass Sword, and I also listened to the audiobook for this. Unfortunately, I enjoyed Red Queen more than I did Glass Sword. I gave this a 2.5 stars. This did not qualify for the A to Z book challenge. For the Pop Sugar challenge, it's qualified as a bestseller from 2016. I really wish I had liked this more. I really wanted to like it, but the plot was kind of confusing to me. There were parts that I did understand, which is I think why I gave it a 2.5 stars, but for the most part, it's not my favorite one. I really liked Red Queen more. Nevertheless, I am still going to continue on with the series. King's Cage came out a few weeks ago, and then I think there is one more novel that is set to come out next year. So I will continue on with the series, but I just wish I had liked Glass Sword more. Next book I completed in February was Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher. This is kind of one of her biographical books. She has Wishful Drinking, Shockaholic, and The Princess Diarist that are about her. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. For the A to Z book challenge, it did not qualify for a letter, and for the Pop Sugar challenge, it qualified as a book by an interesting woman, because I think we can all agree that Carrie Fisher was an amazing and very interesting woman. I really enjoyed this book. It was funny. I listened to the audiobook, which was narrated by Carrie Fisher, and it was just incredible to hear her talking about all these different things that happened in her life, and just the emotion that she expressed through the audiobook was incredible. And the last book I completed in February was Love and Other Known Variables by Shannon Lee Alexander, and this is the book that I unwrapped to read in the month of February. I gave this book a 3.5 stars. It did not qualify for an A to Z book challenge, and it did not qualify for the Pop Sugar challenge. This was an interesting read because it's not what I thought it was about, but honestly, I think the only reason I gave it a 3.5 stars was because I enjoyed the second half more than I did the first half. I was struggling to read this book and get it done, but I finally managed to get it done on the last day of the month. Overall, I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed the second half more than I did the first half. Also, aren't you guys proud that I actually finished the book that I said I was going to read in February? I did it. Yeah, I was cutting it pretty close, but I did it. So guys, that is all I have for my February wrap up. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like a behind the scenes look at my life, you can check out my second channel, Chloe Essence. You name it, I probably do it on that channel. Also, I'm currently hosting my 900 subscriber giveaway. It will end tomorrow, March 5th at 11:59 p.m. So if you have not already, I will leave that video linked down below so you can go enter that giveaway. Remember, it does end tomorrow, March 5th at 11:59 p.m. So go enter if you have not already. If you like what you see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so click subscribe so you can be updated for when I post those. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!